as we roll into week 7, we're still trying to figure out the Rams backfield. We get a little bit of news every single day, and we're trying to act off it. We got a little bit more today. So now we're going to be talking about Darrell Henderson, running back of the Rams. We're going to talk about news, facts, data, the advanced analytics, and everything else. But what you need to do is click that subscribe button right now. Tap it with the finger on your phone. Click it with your mouse, whatever you need to do. We're doing deep dives on these waiver wire prospects every single day to help you build your fantasy teams, to help you set those lineups, to help you get them stashes and everything else. Click that button. Stop missing out. But we got some news on Darrell Henderson right now. And the Rams' Darrell Henderson Jr. will be promoted off the practice squad. That was a quick move for the Rams. We saw this yesterday when we looked at Sean McVay's press conference. He was very excited about having Henderson back. I'm not surprised he's promoted this quick. I was guessing sometime this week or next week that he was going to get promoted, and he's up there already. The thing about this is when they signed C.J. Anderson off the street after Todd Gurley got injured, instantly got the workload, all the touches. This could be a scenario for Henderson considering he knows the system. He's been there. He's been productive. They feel good about him. And go back to that video from yesterday about Sean McVay and just read his body language, see what he's saying. But again, initially he was signed to the practice squad. Royce Freeman was bumped up. Myles Gaskin signed off the Vikings practice squad. The thing about Myles Gaskin, going back to that video, is that the other coaches on the staff, like Gaskin, we get the feeling from that, from his words that he said in that press conference, Darrell Henderson gets the bump up really quick here, and now we have a depth chart here that's chock full of running backs that are fighting for opportunities, but we're starting to get a feel of how things are going to lay out in this depth chart. Darrell Henderson, no production yet, 5'8", 208 pounds. He was out on the street. He was out on the waiver wire. The Rams pick him back up. Looks like he's good to go, though. Looks like they're willing to let him get some opportunities sooner than later. Going back and looking at his production with the Rams from 2020 to 2022, this dude has been productive. He can get you RB1 weeks, and on the low in 2022, he was able to get you double-digit PPR fantasy performances. He's been locked down in this offense for a bit. He knows the offense pretty well. He can be productive. That is something good to see. He's dependable. Sean McVay thinks he's dependable. That's really what we like to see when we're looking at the running backs here. And we're starting to see how the team feels about these running backs that they have on the depth chart. Looking at his production from a different light here, 624 yards in 2020, 688 in 2021, lighter last year, but still has some production to his name in this offense, was sharing the backfield, getting some opportunities, and you know what? He's a steady, good running back. He's not a Jonathan Taylor. He's not a top-tier guy, but he's good enough to get the job done, and that's what we saw in his draft profile. Third-round pick, 2019, 5'8", 208 pounds. But looking at the size, adjusted athleticism here, 73rd percentile speed score, 4.49, 40-yard dash from back then. Compares statistically to Myles Gaskin, who they already have on the roster. I mentioned in one of the other videos that these two could end up being the 1-2 punch that they go with. Gaskin has some upside, catches the ball in the backfield. Henderson is dependable, has the experience in the offense. That looks like that's what we're going to be seeing. I talked about Zach Evans too a few times this week, a lot of times this week. Has a ton of upside, but he's one of those players you want to strangle because he has so much talent, but never uses it, never consistent. And this is an indicator that he has not been consistent with the Rams with how quick they were able to snatch Hendo, bump him up off practice squad, grab Gaskin, bring up Freeman, and make all these moves this week. Of course, they needed bodies, but it looks like they're promoting some dudes, and Zach Evans needs to get his shit together. Looking at this team, Ronnie Rivers out, Kyron Williams out, a lot of touches are out, and going back to 2017 when Todd Gurley was out for the year, they brought in C.J. Anderson. He got a boatload of touches. If you're looking good, if you're the hot hand, when you got a mix like this, historically, on a sample of one, they like to roll with that guy who's looking good. Could be Hendo. Could be Hendo. Likely Hendo. If he's getting opportunities this week or next week, more than likely this week, could be looking good for the team. Could be getting those opportunities. He's probably the guy you want to roll with here on the save. Gaskin more with upside, or both if you can fit him. Zach Evans, more of a guy that you're looking at as a lottery ticket that's more than likely not going to cash in for you, but the upside is immense. It's just, we've seen this throughout college. We've seen this through the recruiting process going to college. We've seen this with 2 different collegiate programs. We saw this during the draft process. We saw it during the combine. We saw it off and on this season as he wasn't able to usurp anybody really on the depth chart. And now the depth chart breaks and they got to bring in other running backs. They got to bring in other bodies. He's not the guy. But he does have that upside from what we saw on tape from college. But again, you're rolling Hendo here as the safe play, the more than likely play. Gaskin's got upside. Freeman, I'm not really feeling, but he could be a goal line back, getting you something there. Hendo's the safe investment, especially for the long term. Myles Gaskin, I like him for the long term as a safer lottery ticket to Evans. But Evans has immense upside. And if you want a lottery ticket that you may more than likely be throwing away, but you want to see it through to see if that upside hit, maybe Zach Evans. But you're looking at Hendo because you're chasing that upside in this offense. He's the safest of the bunch. You feel better about him, but you also don't need him because you don't want to speculate. A Mario Demercado situation here. As you look at this backfield, there's a lot of guys here fighting for touches, and that's what we're going to be seeing here. But we do feel good about Hendo. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people feel good about Gaskin. Evans has upside. Evans is a guy that if you have the space, you may want to try and stash, but be prepared to drop if it runs bad. He could surprise you because he does have the upside, but he's also known to be not consistent, not be reliable. And go look at the production metrics. Go look at the tape. You'll see both of them if you really look at that. We've been studying him on this channel for the last 4 years now. So yes, he is an up and down player. The ups are ups and the downs are downs. But that's what I got on this backfield. I want to hear what you think about it. Drop in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Catch you on the next video.